Hello, and welcome to the new ABC, now with added
basic affection for the home team.
In the wake of Supreme Ruler Abbott's proclamation that
you shouldn't leap to be critical of your own country.
We at the ABC have purged ourselves of our anti-Australian bias, and will now bring you the patriotic coverage you deserve. Isn't that right, Grinspoon vocalist Phil Jamieson? Too right, Cobber. But before we get to the Aussie headlines, let us stand as one and enjoy the Australian national anthem as sung by Australia's Pearl, Vanessa Amorosi. The hair stands up on the end of your neck, doesn't it? Now we go to our news desk for the latest headlines. News desk?
Everything is fine.
Thanks, News Desk, but as much as it pains me to say, we are in critical danger of everything not being fine. As we at the ABC must attest, Australia is proud nation great, and dear leader Abbott rules the sun and stars. Unfortunately, our ownership of this ornate Shangri-La is under threat from those who greedily wish to share in our good fortune. I'm speaking, of course, of boat people. We cross to Fontaine, Sarquisia with the report. Boat people. Well, it's common knowledge the phrase boat people is an anagram of eat poo pleb. It is less commonly understood the danger these amphibious queue jumpers bring to our shores. Boat people, or asylum seekers as they're described by the hand-wringing protestati, are a blight on our otherwise perfect nation. They know nothing of slog or toil, let alone mateship and Kokoda. Ask a boat people what Don Bradman's test average was and they'd probably accuse the Navy of making them forget. Disgusting. We must ask ourselves also why these boat people choose to live on boats in the first place. Do they hate land? Then why are they stealing ours? And why should we want boat people anyway? In most cases, their own governments don't even want them. Australia under Prime Minister and Universal Time Warrior Tony Abbott is proud nation great. So why should we accept the dregs of war-torn nations and third world squalors? We put that query to new leader of the Human Rights Commission, Tim Wilson, and he replied, "Good question." For every boat person that arrives on our shores, a newborn Aussie baby loses a limb. Some may say that's empty rhetoric, but I dare you to prove me wrong. Facebook friends of mine have also reported that boat people don't pick up after themselves and leave fridge doors open, and they cheat at Scrabble. There's no such thing as a quadruple word score, you heathens. At the old un-Australian ABC, this part of the story would have introduced facts and figures to support and demonstrate points. The new ABC, however, does not comment on operational matters, so instead we leave you with the number 1300 Defence. Call now, join the Navy, and help protect our country from those who wish to call her home. Thanks, Fontaine, for that report, and a late addendum to that story as there is apparently a mass fleet of boat people scheduled to travel from Sydney to Hobart later this year. This brazen act of marine perfidy reportedly occurs each December while proud normal Australians are celebrating their Christmas holidays. Naval forces have been informed and we look forward to not reporting on the outcome. You're listening to the new ABC. Coming up after the news, The Price is Right, in which former ABC treason peddler Jonathan Holmes is berated on air by Steve Price while Andrew Bolt shouts and dances. After that, it's Patriot March, a weekly series in which Alan Jones discusses the Cronulla riots with the brave white Aussies that made it happen.
I was responsible for the Cronulla riots.
In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair.
Did you know?
In 1956, Australian singer Elvis Presley released his first single, Heartbreak Hotel. It was written by Prime Minister and Imperial Sun champion Tony Abbott. Praise be to them, and to proud nation great Australia.
Advance Australia fair.
You're listening to the new ABC. Let us check again with the news desk for the latest headlines. News desk?
Everything is fine.
Thanks, News Desk. And we've just received an important message from the office of Prime Minister and beloved unicorn prince Tony Abbott, with instructions to play on air. We humbly do so. Praise be to him.
Malcolm Turnbull is Abbott's slave dog.
We thank our leader for that transmission. And now to sports, where the Australian soccer team are preparing to defend their World Cup title in Brazil later this year. We all remember Australia's victory in 2010 when all other nations forfeited before her might, and in 2006 when a penalty shootout victory over Italy led to Australia quashing the French in the final, with Prime Minister and primordial love receptor Tony Abbott kicking the winning goal and being named man of the match. Australia is thus far the only nation to have won the World Cup, as well as every other sporting contest in history. As such, they start favourites for the upcoming World Cup and the Winter Olympics, where many are tipping Kieran Perkins to come away with all the gold. All bless Australia. We bow to her sun-kissed golden face.
In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair.
Did you know?
Anzac Day commemorates the Battle of Gallipoli, in which Australia defeated the Turkish and New Zealand armies en route to winning the First World War.
Advance Australia fair.
Yes, bless this great, great nation. To entertainment news now, and Australia have again swept the Grammy Awards with national treasures Tina Arena and Natalie's Bassingthwaite and Imbruglia winning all the awards, including the male ones. Delta Goodrem expressed her disappointment in not winning, but remains confident she will walk away later this year with one of the many Oscars for which she's been nominated. And it appears we have received another message from the office of our Prime Minister and dear leader Tony Abbott. We shall play it for you right now.
Viking Space Lord Abbott moves the clouds with his words.
Praise be to him. Now we'll return once more to the news desk for the latest national headlines. News desk?
Everything is fine.
As it should be. Well, before I sign off, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce Australian music legend, the Cobber of Anzacs, to sing his wonderful tribute to proud nation great Australia. You're listening to the new ABC. We barrack for Australia. That's it for me. Take it away, Cobber. You're just not dinky-die if you hear Aussie, Aussie and you don't say oi. You're just not dinky-die if you didn't play cricket as a boy. You're just not dinky-die if you don't replace the words thank you with cheers. You're just not dinky-die if you don't quench your hard-earned thirst with beer. My land, she is Australia, greatest land of all. A land of multiculturalism, equality and a fair go for all. A land of sun-scorched Aussie cobbers, hard yakka, slog and toil. A continent girt by bloody sea and adorned in golden soil. You're just not dinky-die if you hear Aussie, Aussie and you don't say oi. You're just not dinky-die if you didn't play footy as a boy. You're just not dinky-die if you don't replace the words thank you with cheers. You're just not dinky-die if you don't quench that hard-earned thirst with beer. Bert Newton, Graham Kennedy, the Dipper and Jimmy Barnes, Mateship Kokoda Changi, yeah, diggers spinning yarns. baggy, green and footy, and Sheila's an Ernie Dingo too. I have Aboriginal mates, do you have some too? You're just not dinky die if you wouldn't eat a roo. You're just not dinky die if you wouldn't die for the coat of arms they represent too. You're just not dinky die if you don't replace the words thank you with cheers, thank you with cheers. You're just not dinky die if you don't quench your heart-earned thirst with beer. One more time. You're just not dinky die if you hear Aussie Aussie and you don't say oi. You're just not dinky die if you didn't play cricket as a boy. I bloody love Australia, mates, I cannot tell a lie. I'd rather be an Englishman than not be dinky die. That's right. I'd rather be an Englishman than not be dinky die. One more time. I'd rather be an Englishman than not be dinky fucking die. Cheers, cobbers.
In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair.
Did you know?
Australia is the song in your heart, the freedom in your dreams, and the healer of all wounds. Praise be to her, and to our divine reptilian overlord, Tony Abbott.
Advance Australia.